All right, so this nightmare is finally coming to an end. Sorry, I did a big troubleshooting session, but I had to do it off camera because if I, I didn't want to have to keep pausing the video. Most of it, I couldn't just talk and think. Like sometimes it helps to voice things, but when it when it gets really rough, sometimes I have to just focus in. So I was doing that, and then of course I have to when I'm focusing in, uh, just if I need to leave, if I need to do something, like I don't need to. Having the video running is just a distraction that I couldn't handle. But I figured it out, and I'm now. So I was stuck here before, so I got everything to work. So now I'm just doing the steps for the production, and that will finish out this. Then it's the conclusion. So I'll go back and I'll explain for historical purposes what I had to do, and it's a lot. It was not easy. And then in the description of this video, I'll link to my GitHub repo. So anyone who wants to follow along with this future, they can just see my files and then just go with my files, and you'll get it to work that way. Any other way, you'll end up with the same pitfalls that I ended up with. But right now, I've got to create the. Oh yeah, so I've got to push this now. Okay. Whoops. Git status. There we go. So now we're gonna do git push prod master. Okay, and hopefully that doesn't fail out. So you make any changes to the config file, it's setting the database based on the newly created database URL environment variable. Okay, and then we got to apply the migrations. So this is the part that I think I've never had work on camera, and we'll see it working when I do it here, hopefully, assuming this works. I don't see why it wouldn't work if the staging environment worked, but the way this has been going, I would not be surprised if it just randomly stopped working. Okay, so yeah, that seems to be going good. So yeah, I don't remember exactly what command I had on camera that wasn't working. I think it was like it was even like way back here. Yeah, it was like this Python managed DB upgrade command wasn't working. But yeah, and the migrate command wasn't working either. And I'll give a breakdown once I prove that I've solved the issues, which I will be doing here shortly. So grams word count app. Okay, so now if this goes good, we'll see the database migration. Yep, so yep, running upgrade. So there we go. So we can see, sure enough, I even got the migration to work. I've got everything to work perfectly. So yep, that's it. Now both our staging and production sites have their databases set up and are migrated and ready to go. When you apply a new migration to the production database, there could be downtime. If this is an issue, you can set up database replication by adding a follower, commonly known as a slave database. For more on this, check out the official Heroku documentation. That's it for part 2. If you'd like to dig deeper into Flask, check out our accompanying video series. In part 3, we're going to build the word counting functionality and have it set to a task queue to deal with the longer running word count processing. See you next time. Cheers. So yep, I read this in the last video. Or I think the second to last video before I did a big troubleshooting video and then just had to troubleshoot off camera. But let's go through and go over everything I needed to do to make this work. And I'll even write it down and I'll include it in the description. So okay, so we're gonna discard this, if I may. can I just open a file, please? Is that too hard to ask? Okay, there we go. So this is what I had to do to get step 2 to work. Okay, so the first thing I had to do is there is an actual typo in this. It's not the most devastating typo, but it is. I guess the first thing, and this was many years ago, name my database after my Linux account name. Yeah. Then the next thing I had to do, now you can see here, there's 3 equal signs here. That's not a valid syntax. There has to be 2 equal signs, I think. Either that or it's the other 2 that don't have valid syntax. No. Yeah, it can only have 2 equal signs in the requirements.txt file. I think. I'm confusing myself now. But in any case, it has to be consistent. So you clearly can't have a mix of 2 and 3. It has to be either all 2 or all 3. So I'd like to see an example of that file. I know it's going to be really difficult to find one because why would it be easy? It seems like a really easy thing to find. Okay, so here's an example. Yeah, it's got to be only 2 equal signs, which is exactly what I thought. But we're given one with 3, so this is going to fail out. I think that might have been one of the things that was happening. Okay, so then the other thing, don't forget to do. Okay. So let's write this down. Not for Flask-SQLAlchemy, and then don't forget a Python -m pip install upgrade pip before downloading the requirements. So that's a big one. That went wrong. The other thing I had to do, if you look at my requirements.txt file, you can see I only specify the version for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 modules. So we'll do a pipe grep equal, and now we can see the 5 versions. And you notice I don't have to do the dash binary for this anymore too. I think that's because I did the pip upgrade command. So so it now can get this. So let's see. Only define specific versions for these requirements. allow all other requirements to download any version. Okay, so that was a big one. Um, what else did I have to do? Oh, yeah. So this was fine. You've got to change this to match it. Yeah. Oh, the other thing I had to do, which was a big one. Um, so it was failing out here. It was saying like it wasn't matching some sort of thing. So when you do the delete, uh, when you do this init, you get like a hash or something, and like if that match hash doesn't match like the date with the hash in the database, yeah, so like we get like this, or we get like some kind of hash, then it doesn't work. So like if you, yeah, so in the version folder, I think it'll tell you to delete the versions folder in the tutorial. I'm not sure where it does that. Um, I thought it told you to do that somewhere, but if you ever delete your auto-generated migrations, I think it tells you to delete the migrations folder somewhere. Okay, well I don't see it. Okay, so but this is one thing I have to do. If you ever have to delete the migrations or versions folder, you also have to update or delete the psql table, or else the folders will auto generate with mismatched values. Okay, and then there was at least one more big one. Yeah. So the last one, that was a big one, was this one here. It has to have PRESQL instead of PRES. But this is an auto-generated database URL, so you don't get to determine what this config var is listed as. But when the code reads in the config var, you can use Python to modify the config var before it is actually fed into the code. So I think that's in the models. No, it's not in models. Which one is it in? I forget. Let me get out of here. Okay, I think it's in manage actually. So I knew it started with an M. Okay, no, it's in config. I remember it's in config now. Unless it's in app, but I remember it's in config. Yeah, so here's where it reads in that variable, but the variable is not going to work unless it's a specific syntax. So you can add this code here at the end of it, and it will automatically modify the syntax to a valid so that it's a valid database URL for the code to process. Okay, so if you ever have to delete migrations or original folder, you also have to update or delete the. Okay, and then the last one is add this code to your config.py file so that the database URL is modified to a be in a compatible syntax with the code. Okay, so that's it. Those are the 6 steps I got it to work, and we saw there that it did work. So yeah, that's it for part 2. Now I can legitimately start part 3 because I've got everything to work. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.